Excellency, the Most Honorable Sir Cornelius Alvin Smith, Order of the Nation, Knight Grand Cross of the Most Distinguished Order of St. Michael and St. George, Governor General of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas, Prime Minister, the Most Honorable Hubert Alexander Minnis, Order of the Nation, Member of Parliament for the Kalani constituency, Prime Minister of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas, Minister of Finance, and Minister responsible for disaster preparedness, management, and reconstruction. The Honorable Desmond Bannister, Member of Parliament for Carmichael and Minister of Works. Honorable Iram Lewis, Minister responsible for the disaster ministry, Youth, Sports and Culture. Want to see if you're paying attention. Minister of Youth, Sports and Culture, former minister responsible for that particular ministry. You are alert, and that is wonderful. Honorable Dawn Sanders, the Member of Parliament for Tall Pines constituency. The Honorable Carlton Bolag, Member of Parliament for North Andros. Ms. Kay Forbes-Smith, who serves as Chair of the Authority. Mr. Permanent Secretary. We also have with us the Permanent Secretary. We're happy to have the Director of the BIS with us, Ms. Erica Wells with us. We're happy to have the staff of the Office of the Governor General with us. And last but in no way least, we're happy to have Mrs. Pakesia Parker-Edgecombe, Member of Parliament for West End and Bimini, Minister Designate, and Mr. Trevor Edgecombe. Ladies and gentlemen, members of the media, I bid you a very pleasant good afternoon. Good afternoon. On behalf of His Excellency, the Most Honorable Sir Cornelius A. Smith, I am delighted to welcome each of you here, 1 Montague Place, the temporary home of the Office of the Governor General. Secondly, I am pleased to welcome you to the proceedings. Today, we will witness Mrs. Pakesia Parker-Edgecombe take the oath of allegiance and the oath of office, pursuant to the provisions of Article 73(2) of the Constitution. Ladies and gentlemen, today is International Women's Day. And sometimes earlier today I was wondering where is the coincidence and how does it marry? But you will put the pieces together, I am sure. International Women's Day and Mrs. Pakesia Parker-Edgecombe taking the oath. Interesting. You will put it together. It is my pleasure, my delightful pleasure, to invite His Excellency, the Most Honorable Sir Cornelius A. Smith, to administer the oath. And it is my pleasure to invite Mrs. Pakesia Parker-Edgecombe to take the oath of office.
I, Pakesia Sonia Parker-Edgecombe, do swear that I will be faithful and bear true allegiance to Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II, her heirs and successors, according to law. So help me God. I, Pakesia Sonia Parker-Edgecombe, being appointed minister, do swear that I will do the best of my judgment, at all times when so required, freely give my counsel and advice to the Governor General, or any other person for the time being lawfully performing the functions of that office for the good management of the public affairs of the Bahamas. And I do further swear that I will not, on any account, at any time whatsoever, disclose the counsel, advice, opinion, or vote of any particular minister or parliamentary secretary, and that I will not accept, with the authority of the cabinet, and to such extent as may be required for the good management of the affairs of the Bahamas, directly or indirectly, reveal the business or proceedings of the cabinet or the nature or contents of any documents communicated to me as minister, or any matter coming to my knowledge in my capacity as such, and that in all things I will be a true and faithful minister. So help me God.
Ladies and gentlemen, I invite you to give another round of applause to the Minister of State. The Minister of State for Disaster Preparedness, Management and Reconstruction in the Office of the Prime Minister, the Honorable Pakesia Parker-Edgecombe. It is my honor, my distinct honor and pleasure to invite the Prime Minister of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas to come now and to bring his remarks. Ladies and gentlemen, the Prime Minister of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas.
Thank you very much. You may be seated. Your Excellency, Cabinet colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. I am pleased that the Honorable Pakesia Parker-Edgecombe has accepted appointment as Minister of State in the Ministry of Disaster Preparedness, Management and Reconstruction. On behalf of the government and people of the Bahamas, I congratulate her on her appointment. I know that the people of West End and Bimini are also proud of their Member of Parliament. I wish to acknowledge the presence of her husband Trevor, other friends and colleagues. Your Excellency, ladies and gentlemen, for the past 4 years, Pakesia Parker-Edgecombe served as Parliamentary Secretary in the Office of the Prime Minister, with responsibility for information and communications on lands and surveys. She is a former journalist who worked with the Broadcasting Corporation of the Bahamas Northern Service for a number of years. She has a bachelor's degree in mass communication from Bethune-Cookman College and a master's degree in public administration from Nova Southeastern University. Mrs. Edgecombe is a proud member of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated. She has been involved in community-based programs for the youth and the elderly. She also worked on a number of literacy programs, particularly school reading programs with local schools on Grand Bahama. She served as a member of the Toastmasters Club. Your Excellency, ladies and gentlemen, as we celebrate International Women's Day today, I note this year's theme, Choose to Challenge, in the context of women leaders in the Bahamas. Since independence, many women have risen to the highest levels of leadership in our national institutions, including government, business, and civil society. 2 women have served as representatives of our head of state. Women have headed both legislative and judicial branches, including as President of the Senate, Speaker of the House of Assembly, President of the Court of Appeals, Chief Justice, and, of course, President of the Senate. Currently, of the 16 members of the Senate, there are 7 women serving, and I am pleased to lead the political party, which was the first party in the country to successfully offer a woman for election to the House of Assembly in the person of Dame Janet Bostwick. Women have also served in a number of cabinet posts, and Mrs. Cynthia Mother Pratt served as Deputy Prime Minister. Women ministries and departments have been led by women for decades, with a succession of women serving as secretary to the cabinet. Unfortunately, today, the representation of women in the cabinet is at a historic low, given the previous number of women serving at that level. This is not good for our democracy nor our society. In keeping with the theme of this year's International Women's Day, I challenge myself, my party, other parties, and the nation, and the women of the nation in our collective determination to ensure that more women serve in Parliament and in the Cabinet. Only by constantly challenging ourselves and each other can we make progress and lasting change. Because of our recruitment efforts, I am pleased that my party will be running more women in the upcoming general election, including a number of women who have served as leaders in other areas. While there have been historic breakthroughs in the number of women who have served in the cabinet, we must work harder to ensure more women serving in the cabinet on a sustainable basis. We must also honestly acknowledge the reluctance of women offering themselves for elected office, including the reason for such reluctance. If you will permit, as a party leader at the last election, I must admit my frustration that a number of women who my party asked to run declined to do so for various reasons, which I respect. In the upcoming general election, I am pleased that more women are being successfully recruited to run. Once my party is granted the privilege of another term in office, the nation may be assured that there will be more women in the cabinet of the Bahamas. Your Excellency, ladies and gentlemen, last month, the Disaster Reconstruction Authority, DRA, issued its report on reconstruction efforts in the aftermath of Hurricane Dorian. As the chairman of the DRA, Mr. John Michael Clark, noted in his message in the report, and I quote, "The initial damage from Hurricane Dorian was assessed at a staggering $3.4 billion, representing nearly a quarter of our country's gross domestic product," end quote. The managing director of the DRA, Mrs. K. Forbes Smith, who recently served as president of the Senate, noted in her message, and I quote, "Reconstruction is challenging, and it will take more than a year to see substantial change, but there is hope. This hope is being nourished by the efforts and dedication of the many volunteers, Bahamians, residents, and our friends around the world," end quote. Mrs. Forbes Smith also noted, quote, "Over the next 6 months, we will focus on 5 priority projects, and these include the continuation of small homes repair program, the development of the Abaco Center, the management and reduction of debris, the cleanup of the Marsh Harbor Port, and the development of much-needed housing solutions." She further went on to say, "We have many more projects awaiting us as we continue on our multi-year journey, working with government and partners to fulfill our vision of rebuilding. As challenging as these times are, there is a resiliency to the Bahamas," end quote. In the rebuilding and renewal of Abaco, the Abaco Keys and Grand Bahama since Hurricane Dorian, $105.6 million in tax concessions were provided during 2019 and 2020 under the Special Economic Recovery Zone Act for VAT, customs duties, and excise tax waivers. Further, $11,536,683 plus an additional 22 cents in business license fees were waived for 4,475 companies in the affected areas. This related to business license fees that had accrued during 2019 before the hurricane. Additionally, $5,983,424 plus 42 cents was dispersed by the Small Business Development Center to micro, small, and medium-sized enterprises in the affected areas. Pakesia, while there's been significant progress in our reconstruction efforts, there is still a long way to go to restore and to renew our second and third most populous islands. I encourage and invite you to lend your abilities, your heart, and your abiding empathy to the many communities who are continuing to rebuild with fortitude, with determination, and most importantly, with resilience. Your Excellency, ladies and gentlemen, at a ceremony at Hopetown, Abaco at the beginning of February, showcasing the Dune Recovery and Hopetown Shoreline Stabilization Project on Elbow Key, I noted, while there is still much work to do here on Hopetown and throughout Abaco and Grand Bahama, we are making progress together. There is truly hope on the horizon. And this very year, I went on to say this very year, the economy of the Bahamas and Abaco will get much better. More investments will flow into the Abaco Keys, Abaco, and Grand Bahama, including private sector investments and public infrastructure. I further went on to quote, through the grace of the God of new beginnings, Abaco and the Bahamas will rise. End quote. With each passing day and the progress we are making in addressing COVID-19 through our health measures, vaccines, our economic recovery, and resilience plans, our hope as a country is gathering pace. Your Excellency, ladies and gentlemen, may I close by thanking the staff at the Ministry of Disaster Preparedness, Management and Reconstruction and the DRA for their tireless effort in the aftermath of the worst natural disaster in our nation's history. I once again thank His Excellency and the staff of Government House for their gracious hospitality. May God bless Pakesia in her new role. May God bless each and every one of you, and may God bless the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. Thank you very much, and good afternoon.
I'm sure we can do a little better than that. Let us give the Prime Minister another round of applause for those very kind remarks. Thank you, and thank you for updating us, Prime Minister. At this time, we will have the official photographs. Please, shall we? This will be organized by the ADC and protocol officers.
Hubert Minnis gave us some words of advice as she takes on this new role, and he also touted her tenacity in ensuring that she carries out this role effectively. As you heard, Mrs. Parker-Edgecombe began her career at the Broadcasting Corporation of the Bahamas 15 years ago, and this is a red letter day for the media as well as the constituents in West Grand Bahama, Bimini, and the island of Grand Bahama as a whole. Mrs. Edgecombe is expected to begin her tenure immediately, and I will see if I can get an interview with her moments after the ceremony to find out exactly how she feels and to get a better understanding of what she wants to accomplish in this new role. As you heard from the Prime Minister, today is International Women's Day, and he's committed to ensuring that the Cabinet of the Bahamas, if the Free National Movement wins the second term at the 2022 general elections, then more women will be represented in the Cabinet. The Governor General is now departing the room. And we will now wrap up this live coverage of the swearing-in ceremony of the Honorable Pakesia Parker-Edgecombe as the new Minister of State for Disaster Preparedness, Management, and Reconstruction. We want to thank you so much for tuning in.
Thank you.
I'm Altaviz Munnings. Good afternoon, Bahamas.